Okay, amazing. So as we were discussing, I wanted to just go through with you the core wounds. We have two types of trauma in the body. So it's either shock that comes into the body. It's either shock trauma, so through an experience, or through neurological trauma, where it's something that's been ingrained in the body through something that's said to us as a child. So most people have this type of trauma that's lodged in the body, and we don't realize, through our adult life, actually who's driving the bus. It's actually probably our child self, and we spend so much money on very complicated plans, or maybe we feel like we need to go to therapy. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we just continue in a loop and sabotage our relationships, or we comfort eat. The list is endless as to the different types of numbing mechanisms that we can do. So I just wanted to run through the different types of wounds that, we often deal with in the body. So with the root chakra, it's often the abandonment wound. Obviously, the root is our grounding chakra. So I think a lot of times, if we're feeling physical discomfort, it can be sort of feelings of dizziness, not feeling very stable in our body. People generally get to be quite wobbly if they've got a root chakra wound or imbalance. And it's almost like I don't feel safe in my body. And also you'll find if people have a judgment, a cringe judgment. So if they don't like people and it's just like, oh, you're so cringe because you're authentic, that's generally from a root chakra imbalance. And then quickly moving to the sacral chakra. So this is obviously our sexual center. This is an invalidation wound. So maybe when we were a kid, we weren't seen, we weren't heard, we were told to be quiet. So many girls grow up with this wound because obviously, as you know yourself, as a child, we were put in the box, told to be that it's not convenient for you to be who you are. You must fit into this framework for you to function in society. It's the good girl and the people pleaser comes from an invalidation wound in the sacral chakra. And this can present as you don't trust your own feelings. Therefore, you really rely on other people's opinions to navigate your life. And then this can show up as somatic tightness in the hips, lower abdomen tension, and then creative blockages can also be from the sacral chakra. And the body message would be, my emotions aren't safe to be expressed. And that can also, we find sometimes when the sacral is blocked, then also the throat as well. So it's an expression of a lack of expression, sorry. So then moving up to the solar plexus, this is actually the one that I find in my practice that a lot of people have blocked. Me too. It's the betrayal wound. Yeah. So that explains a lot. and that also combined with the gut. So a lot of women have the betrayal wound combined with sort of IBS issues as well, because they literally have swallowed too much of somebody else's shit. We've all done it, right? In relationships, we've taken on somebody else's bullshit and then probably internalized it as our own or tried to carry it, and then we got sick. So this can be manifest as difficulty trusting others, and then also not being able to trust our core intuition as well. And this can manifest in, as I just mentioned, sort of gut issues, IBS issues, also lots of anxiety. People that are highly anxious tend to have an imbalance or a wound in their solar plexus chakra. So then moving on to the heart, our beautiful heart space. So this is generally a grief wound, loss, rejection. And this can be from a child, like when you maybe didn't get on with your siblings or your parents, and you had lots of conditional love placed on you. You had to do something in exchange for something else. So you learned that you had to be a transactional human being, and things weren't easy to get, and it wasn't unconditional love that you got. And that's that gets hardwired into the nervous system, and that's why we get a lot of sort of people pleasing in relationships, where people have learned in their childhood that they need to be somebody else. Yeah. So like, the behavioral patterns that show up now, obviously, difficulty in intimacy. Codependent relationships can be from a heart wound chakra, and emotional distance. So you would if you had quite a big wound in your heart center, you might actually chase somebody that was emotionally distant, because then it's safe for you to, and then your ego can be like, oh, I told you so. And then you actually never allow people to get close. Physically, it can show up as tight chest, anxiousness, difficulty breathing. A lot of people who actually struggle with breath work have blockages around their heart chakra. And the body message is, if I open my heart, I might be hurt again. And then moving on to the throat chakra, which I do see a lot of women with this, and this can be the last one to go. So when we're working on our system, when we start opening up to our aligned energy and our truth, we usually start from the bottom down. So it's obviously the root and the sacral and the solar. And then the last one is the voice, stepping into our power, and the fear of being seen, fear of being heard is really big. A lot of us carry a witch wound. So a lot of us were killed in a past lifetime, or we have core memories where we came to harm because we spoke our truth. And this can also happen in childhood, when we were, when we spoke our truth and we were punished for it, or we were dismissed and we were silenced. So this can manifest as fears of confrontation in life, always looking for the peaceful solution and not actually saying what you believe, which also can leave you feeling very ungrounded. Again, this would be avoiding difficult conversations. And the somatic signals, which I'm sure you know about because you've just done with your kinesiology, is jaw tension, TMJ. So that's all like blocked throat chakra. And obviously, the no-brainer is my voice isn't safe. I won't be heard. And then the last one is the gaslighting wound. That's the third eye. So when we come out of a narcissistic relationship, or we've had some type of abandonment wound triggered, the third eye will be the first thing to close up before descending down our chakra system when we're feeling triggered. So this is things like you gaslight yourself and you imagine like it didn't happen, it's not real, I'm making it up. That's when your ego is trying to gaslight you. And we also seek relationships where that happens. So it's almost like our ego seeks validation in the real world. And I'm sure you've had it yourself, as I have, when we're waking up and seeing things, you're like, no, that's not real, because it's just easier.
Yep.
It's easier. Then you're constantly second guessing yourself, which leads to an untethering, ungrounding. And then that leads to almost like a distortion in your belief system about your intuition. So your intuition starts to go offline. So generally people who do not trust their sort of awakening process tend to almost like it takes you a couple of steps backwards. I've seen it in quite a few people. And the message is that my perception cannot be trusted. I can't believe my own eyes. And this usually comes physically with sort of tension headaches. A lot of people with like cluster headaches also, as you said, like the tightness in the jaw. That can be very prevalent. Okay, so that's a really brief run through, because I know that you're pretty advanced in all of this stuff and you know what you're talking about. So just a quick run through. So then what I wanted to do with you is I wanted to go through a self-diagnostic tool of addressing core wounding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a set of questions. And then for each statement, I want you to answer either 1 to 4. So 1 if it's not true, 4 if it feels really strong. And then if you feel it anywhere in your body, I just want you to let me know as well.
Okay.
Because then we're going to go through and we'll find out if you've got anything that needs to, be shifted.
Okay.
So the abandonment root chakra, I often feel a background sense of instability or insecurity. How do you feel that?
I'll give it a 2.
Okay, great. I worry about being left alone.
1.
I sometimes feel I don't fully belong anywhere.
3.
I struggle to feel grounded or settled.
Before I answer that, I just want to say that the one before, I definitely felt like instant in my sacral.
Great.
Yeah. And sorry, could you repeat?
Of course. I struggle to feel grounded or settled in life.
Sure. 3 and right into my heart. Like,
Do you know, it's really interesting. When we start going through this, the things that we don't realize that we're carrying, and that's why this work's so important, because we're such strong survivors. There's loads of stuff.
That's true.
I feel strong emotional reactions to themes of isolation or survival. So say if you're watching a survival movie, do you get emotional?
Yeah. So I would probably give that a 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sacral chakra questions. I often feel like my emotions are too much for others.
Oh, I'd give that a 4. And I did get a sensation, but I'm not sure where it was. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm just
maybe my
taking
third
this.
eye. I don't know. Just yeah.
Amazing, thank you. I adjust my personality to make others comfortable.
Say 2.
I struggle to know what I truly want.
It's 2 solar plexus.
Thank you. I feel guilty expressing my needs or desires.
3 hearts.
I rely on external validation to feel secure.
1.
Great. And then last one, we're going to do the solar plexus, and then we'll just work on how we can shift these emotions. So solar plexus is the betrayal wound. I feel a strong need to stay in control of situations.
Yeah, I would give that a 2, and I feel in my throat.
Okay. I struggle to fully trust others' intentions.
2.
Fantastic. I feel defensive or guarded in my relationships. And this can be any relationships, not just romantic.
I'd say 1.
Okay. I find it difficult to be vulnerable.
I feel a 2 in my heart.
I often feel tension in my stomach or digestive system.
2.
Great. So out of all of those, I think the most reactive set of questions was the second set around the sacral. So then what we're going to do is we're going to dissolve these feelings in real time. And the great thing about this technique is that we do not need to attach a story to it, because these emotions or emotions, energy in motion, these are just energetic imprints that have become too stuck in our body. So when we want to release them, the nice thing to do is breath and tapping. So I want you to put your hands on your sacral and your 2 fists, and we're just going to do some nice deep belly breaths. First of all, we're going to just close our eyes, and I want you to drop your awareness into your sacral chakra. And I want you to see that beautiful orange light growing brighter and brighter, just opening up that energetic space. And just calling upon your higher self now to take control, asking your mind to quieten down. And I want you to focus on breathing into that space, pushing your breath really deep into the belly. And we're going to do 5 big deep belly breaths. 1, And last one. And then I want you to start tapping very gently, almost like if I'm doing it on my chest, you're going to do it on your sacral. And you're just going to see what comes up. And I want you to imagine that almost like sediment, you are just unsettling sediment that's lodged within your abdomen, within that chakra space, within your energy body. And then with each exhale, it's almost like you're blowing smoke out. So you're pulling the energy up your chakra column, out through your lungs, out through your mouth. And when it feels right, just give a nice big sigh, just to release any of that dense energy. Don't let the mind hang on to any story. Just let it go. It's safe. Beautiful. Release. And then we're going to take one last little breath. And then I want you to stop tapping. And I just want you to notice how that feels. How do you feel? Do you feel heavier? Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more emotional? Do you feel less emotional?
I feel lighter and like a sense of like more of myself came back to
Great.
my center. Yeah.
So out of your questions, the ones that you rated highest on was, I often feel like my emotions are too much for others. And then I feel guilty expressing my needs and desires. So if we wanted to rewrite that statement, and we're going to tap it into the sacral chakra, what would that look like? So would it be a direct statement to yourself? My emotions are...
Yeah, direct statement to myself for sure. My emotions are valid. Yeah, my emotions are valid and important.
I like that. I like important.
Yeah.
Valid. Let's change that out because you know, valid is a kind of almost like a 50-50 word. My emotions are important.
Yeah.
Great. And then the other one was, I feel guilty expressing my needs or desires. My needs and desires are...
My needs and desires are I would also feel like my needs and desires are important, or my needs and desires are, what's another? Yeah.
We can combine it. So we could say that my emotions, my needs and desires are all important. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to repeat it so we don't lose. So you're just going to tap this into your sacral. So again, just close your eyes, drop your awareness down. And then I also want you to imagine that your higher self, which is a beautiful bright light above your head, is now coming into your body, down your spinal column, down into your sacral, and it's really lighting up that area. See it almost like a spark igniting. And then I want you to gently tap onto your sacral chakra and say to yourself, my emotions, my needs and desires are important.
My emotions, my needs and desires are important.
And just keep on repeating it. My emotions, my needs and desires are important.
My emotions, my needs and desires are important.
And really say it to yourself with love.
My emotions, my needs and desires are important.
Beautiful. Keep going.
My emotions, my needs and desires are important. My emotions, my needs and desires are
And as you begin to charge up that area, see that energy expanding within your abdomen. My emotions, my needs and desires are important.
my emotions, my needs and desires are important.
Beautiful. Keep going.
My emotions, my needs and desires are important. My emotions, my needs and desires are important. My emotions, my needs and desires are important. My emotions, my needs and desires. My emotions, my needs and desires.
Beautiful. And then one last time.
My emotions, my needs and desires.
And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And then how do you feel? How does it feel, that area?
Definitely feels like something has shifted and opened.
So the understanding of this is that if we just bring the light of awareness to the parts of the body that are, and the thing that I wanted to highlight is that sometimes we are carrying things that we don't even realize. I've done trauma healing sessions with clients before and online, and I wanted them to use an alias because sometimes and their screen is off, because then they can release all of that stuff, because certain things bubble up and we don't remember half the things that happened to us as a child. And it can be really easy to attach a lot of shame to it and stuff it down. It can be so easy for us to bring all of this to the surface and then move it out of the body with somatics and breath.
Yeah. It's very powerful.
Beautiful. And then I had a couple of self-reflection questions that I wanted to ask you. Which chakra or which set of questions surprised you the most in terms of anything bubbled up to the surface?
The sacral one, I think it was the second question. That one was like, oh, yeah, because it was quite strong.
And how did it feel in the body? What was the sensation?
Just like a lot of like sensation in my, like literally in my sacral. It felt like a bubble.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite interesting and so precise.
It's interesting, isn't it, when we understand that the body's always trying to show us the way. We've just got to stop and listen.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it. And I think next week what we'll do is we'll work through some more movements, and I would like to work with you we'll work on the heart, throat, crown, and then we'll do some unblocking there. Is there anything that you feel particularly that's coming to the surface that you want to work with?
That was the other thing that really came up in my mind. I'm just remembering it now. Was the throat was quite strong too. Around, when you were talking about the our like past life wounds, I'm forgetting the name right now. The witch wound. Sure. Also, I felt that it was like it was I also just got goosebumps and then felt it very strongly here. So
that's something we can definitely work on next time. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank you so much.